But at the same time, when you have a very powerful government, especially if the cities got smaller and smaller, you end up having a taxation system that basically your taxes mostly go to your city. So if you're rich, you get, like, you live awesome, and public school is awesome and everything, and if you're living in a poor city, you're different. So that's the problem with local governance. If local governance happens while this economic system is as it is, you end up actually deepening this problem. So
exactly. So
I mean, you have to go parallel.
Yes, exactly. Both economic.
I don't think I have a problem with these gated communities. These are everywhere. It's not a problem. The problem is the imbalance. I mean, you have this huge gap between people who are living, you know, in whatever, and this. That's the first. So, and they are being subsidized. I mean, if they want to spend their money, let them spend their money and live in their gated communities. That's one thing. The other thing, I just had a comment. The problem is with the rich in San Francisco or wherever who are actually helping their city to survive and protect their city. The problem here is our rich are buying the city. I mean, there is a project of gentrification in this downtown where Sawiris and some foreigners and some Gulf people are buying the downtown, and they were going to, I was questioning, are they going to turn it in a gated community? The downtown where we are meeting now, it was a plan. There is another plan, like I said, for this 2050, which was Gamal Mubarak et al. Project to, I mean, wipe out all this and build malls and towers, Zaha Hadid Tower on Gulan. I mean, what's that? So our rich are really, I don't know what to say, are not really protecting. They're
not in San Francisco either. Come on.
Yeah.
That's not.
We have a better history than Francisco. I'm sorry, but you know, but it's being used and abused by our rich rather than our rich protecting it for the people.
But this is why
for the people.
Yes,
they are protecting it, they are taking it over for themselves.
Yes.
And for the rich of the world to come and enjoy the Khidiri downtown. What's that?
Yes. I think this is why I was mentioning the amnesia, the intentional amnesia that was created, because I think there is actually so much value that the rich and everybody else can benefit from what the city already has to offer if it's just, you know, tweaked just and pushed a little bit, and, you know, you do the basic every day, you know, a little dusting, a little painting, and everything should be okay. But this is the problem, they don't see that value.
The problem is they see the value, but they want it for themselves, not for the people.
But that's
they
because
wanted to really buy the downtown. It was being bought. I mean, it was a fact that they will go to these, you know, small shops in these buildings where we are sitting, small factories inside next to the AUC, the old AUC, and they will pay a guy on the spot £1 million, and the guy will leave. Of course, if I get £1 million, I will leave now. And they were buying it slowly. There is a gentrification happening in downtown. I know lots of elite or cultural elites, supposedly, who are actually living here buying these old, you know, apartments. And I went just last summer, and yes, it's being sold by not Omar, I don't know, one of these, you know, public companies who owns, I mean, these buildings in downtown, and they're selling them to the rich.
Do you want to come in?
just a tiny quick.
Yeah, just, I mean, it's, I don't know the wider, I don't know the wider situation, but I feel that was one here. Yeah, except it's stuck. I have to talk
Okay,
then. But I do feel compelled to kind of, you know, pay attention to this issue, because we are sitting in a space that is bought by Ismailia. Is this not lifted?
Just plow on
Yeah.
regardless.
This is a space that is bought by Ismailia, which is a property development company who are giving us a very cheap rent in order that we may survive as an art space, and that in order that we may make the place attractive and attract the right people. They happen to have a rhetoric of preservation, which I think is actually, you know, potentially believable. It's not a case of knocking the whole place down and building walls. But I question, for example, what gets decided is the right place. Are the storefronts of 26th of July with their big garish lights and their masses and masses of non-westernized kind of shoe buying experience, is this going to be the real downtown according to the developers of downtown? So it's a deal with the devil that we've made in order to survive. But I mean, just to give a very real example of what this lady is speaking of, yeah.
Do we have? Oh, go for it. Sorry. And then we'll take some contributions to the back because we kind of dominated.
I think it's all about reclaiming this territory because it used to be the elites area when it was built. So I think the ministries and the elites here, they want to reclaim this territory and yeah, they're buying it very expensively. In Kalt al-Balagh, 1 meter square reached for 400,000 pounds, and it's not about 1 million pounds. No, it reached 40 million pounds for a commercial space. So in the Brazil constitution, there are two amendments talking about urbanism. One of them is that you can't. Government can't build any project without participation and without hearing some views from the people. So I think as what the army is now is dealing that he's producing what's called مواطنين شرفاء in the street, and he's taking his hand out. I think if we do something in the constitution saying that people are empowered, so something like 2050 won't ever happen because people will stand in front of it. But the thing that till now people don't know what is Cairo 2050, and people who knows, they just see the very extremely good-looking 3D models.
This is all they have, actually.
Yeah, exactly.
It's someone played SimCity and then took some trees.
Actually, it's very weird because I was asking.
Migration to the north and back.
Yeah, I was asking Mohamed who's the planner of 2050, the plan. Someone asked him that they were extending the capital to the east and to the west. Why don't they extend it to the south? And he's the one who is taking care of all this 2050. He said he actually doesn't have a vision of why won't we expand to the south or north. It's very weird.
For anyone who hasn't seen Cairo 2050 or kind of read some of the documents associated with it, or generally isn't aware of the concept, it's well worth looking up as a wonderful testament to the Mubarak regime and their vision of urban planning.
Yeah, it's still going on, by the way.
It's a fiesta of. Yeah, exactly.
No, and they make it again, Cairo 2050 again, since no one.
Nobody knew about it. You were talking about the gentrification. Gentrification of the Maspero triangle is still going on.
Let's speak one at a time and take some contributions from the back because we've been hogging it up here. Yeah, go ahead.
Quick response to the last one. I mean, it's easy to blame the rich, and I think we have all the reason to complain about inequality. But I think it's not. I don't know. I mean, everybody pursues their self-interest. I think it's the role of the government to define the rule of the game. It's not, the rich will not give willingly. I mean,
the government is the rich.
Okay, well, the government should be represented, right? It's not. So that's the issue we should be talking about.
But we're not blaming a representative government. We're blaming a government that was corrupt. We're not talking about a new government. We're talking about a government that was for the rich, by the rich. We're talking about a ruling class. So how is it that we can't blame them? Go ahead.
What I'm saying is this process of, polarized society, it's happening, and it's happened throughout history in many countries. And planning has always been a progressive arm of the government to make sure that the public interest is being served. That's the role of planners, as Mohamed said rightly so. But it can only happen if you have a representative government, that representative of the majority. So what I'm saying is, it's not fair to ask why the rich not spending. They will not. They will spend on their self-interest, not on the poor willingly. And the second point is that what Mohamed said is this idea of willful amnesia, and I also, I cannot disagree with you, it's something specific to gated communities, because some of the people who used to live in Mohandesin or Heliopolis, they still had that willful amnesia towards informal areas, right? So it's not about the new location that creates this kind of cultural amnesia, it's this connect, regardless of geography. It was only when the ring road was constructed that people had access for the first time to informal areas outside soap operas and outside Khalid Yusuf movies, right? So it was the city made itself visible after this ring road, ironically, right? So I don't think that's, because you said that's what's new about this new compound. And I think that's also not very new about it as a typology.